Hi, this is Mason.
We have sort of a problem here.
And you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins Presents.
You apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Transfer Portal Syracuse.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out.
With Brian Higgins and Jordan Capozzi.
Did you see the memo about this?
Capozzi.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Capozzi.
And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
Capozzi.
We need to talk about your TPS reports.
With this week's TPS Report.
If you could go ahead and try to remember to do that from now on, that'd be great.
Here's Brian and Jordan.
All right.
Off. Oh, it's a mess. I've screwed up the start of the show. That's about right. I had us both muted, Jordan. Just not how you want to start the show. Not how you want to start the show. I had a wonderful opening. None of you heard it, so it was great. I don't feel like doing it again. Jordan's here. I'm here. What a wild and crazy, though essentially entirely expected in many ways. 24 hours. The big news that came out within the last few hours is Pete Thamel's been a busy boy today when it comes to Syracuse sports, has he not? His reporting that Brian with a Y, a Berry of Toledo, the current AD of Toledo for the last 4 years, is now apparently it sounds like a damn near lock to become the AD at Syracuse. We'll get into that as the show goes on. Jordan, what is going on?
Arguably, all of these things, at least in my eyes and stomach, are not the most exciting pieces of news today.
Yes, I'd say, and we will get to this. After having them in my possession for literally more than a month, and them being introduced on the store shelves probably 2 months prior to that, I finally, at long last, successfully this morning, and this is arguably harder than hiring a basketball coach and harder than hiring an AD, I remembered to bring Jordan the Pepperidge Farm eggnog cookies. Like, yeah, you think you've got your search committees and hiring a coach, and you think that stuff. Try remembering to put the cookies in the damn car when you say you're going to bring them to Jordan. Try remembering before it's way too late in the day to accomplish it. I had these cookies to Jordan by 9:15, only a month or so late, and I think that's pretty good. I think it's a solid timetable, all things considered.
Well, it was wonderfully executed because the end of the Autry era was today officially, and the end of the Nog review era is today, because as I have I've made very clear, this is the last one. I've already told you who it's going to be, although I might switch last second to honor Coach Autry.
Yeah.
It depends how the cookie crumbles. But yeah, we're going to end that, and we have a lot to discuss. How much do you even want to go back to the SMU game?
Was there a game yesterday? I mean, what I do want to do is this. We need to, after I didn't do this until like 40 minutes into postgame last night, you were in the chat for parts of the show. The show started off the rails last night, and maybe we approached the rails by the end. It was not a rails-friendly show, so we didn't get to our Thompson Road Tavern opening menu last night until literally 40 minutes into postgame, but we might as well. You got like 53 minutes left now to Weck Wednesday if you want to get a beef on Weck. They're serving them till 9 there or takeout, and it's a beef on Weck. If you don't like that, I just don't know what to do with you. Lobster bisque, the soup of the day today. Who doesn't like the bisque? So that's at the Thompson Road Tavern, which, as we know, is on Thompson Road. Yes, Ellie Orange. Everybody give me your money. Do that. I always appreciate that. Thompson Road Tavern would like that too. I'm sure Kurt at the Thompson Road Tavern supports that idea as well. What's on the menu tonight? Link pin top of the chat if you'd like to join the show. As always, would love to chat and any and all of you. Talk to a good number of you earlier today on our emergency. Red has officially been fired. Less of an emergency because we were very prepared for it, but we called it an emergency anyway live in the 315 this morning. So we got that going this morning. We'll talk Red officially gone. I suppose we can mention the game yesterday, but man, in the grand scheme of things, like, that does not feel like that game was 24 hours ago. That feels like that game was 9 years ago. I barely even recall it, and we'll get into this AD news and where things go from here. So there we go. Our opening menu today presented by our good friends at the Thompson Road Tavern. Like, does yesterday's game bear any mention to you, Jordan? Because we've seen the game, because we've seen that game 80 million times this year. It was a 1-point game of the half. They got run off the court to begin the second half. They made it fake close late, and then they lost by whatever they lost by, 16, 17. I don't even know what the final margin was. It just doesn't matter. Is there anything you want to get into from the game last night? Because really the game was just a prelude to what was to come this morning.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that sticks out to me in terms of the game is the two guys who showed up with Adrian Autry for the post-game presser were Nate Kings and Tyler Betsy. One of those guys you definitely want back. I think people are yes and no on Betsy, but he certainly has his upside and he has eligibility. If you can get him to rebound and play defense a little more aggressively, like I thought he did in that game, he's a guy you definitely want back.
And he's a legitimately good shooter. There's always a place for a good shooter on a roster.
Yeah. But I mean, Donnie and JJ, again, for the most part, absent before and after the game. And yeah, I mean, writing was on the wall. Donnie said after the game he doesn't know how he could ever repay Red. That means Red's obviously gone, or Donnie's gone, or both. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, that's really all that sticks out to me from that game, is that Kings and Betsy are, you know, besides the freshmen, I think most people want Sadiq back. A good amount of people want Kyan back. There's the few who are like, he's not that good, he's not worth it. No, you want Kyan
still
back.
Yeah, regardless of that, I'd still like to have Kyan around, because you got I'll say this, if you want a good sign for Kyan being back next year, like, I'm pretty sure Dad knew that he wasn't going to play last night. Like, I'm pretty sure Dad had the insight that he wasn't going to play last night. Melo was still at the game. Like, I don't think Melo showed up to the game like and was shocked. Oh, what? Kyan's hurt? What? I didn't know. I hadn't heard about it. Like, so Melo was at the game despite that. So I'd take that as a good sign that you know, that's a good show of faith for whatever going forward. But yeah, all the questions we get, Jordan, and we get these questions for months now. Who's coming back? I have no idea, because I think it is the Kyan situation being the one separate one. I think it is all extremely dependent on the next head coach, and who does he want, and do they like him? Like, this is a nuclear missile situation. They both got to turn the keys in this era. Like, if the coach says, yeah, the portal's right there, like, what are you gonna do? Like, we don't have NIL for you or whatever. Like, you can basically be cut in this day and age, and the player, if they don't, you know, immediately get along with the coach, the portal's right there. Hop in and get out. Like, that's how it goes. So I think that applies to, like, Kyan being a weird separate case. Everybody else on the roster with eligibility left, I could see it going one way or another. You know, Donnie seems the most gone, but if you told me Brian Hodgson, being really specifically based on previous relationships, like, that's an easy tale to write. He recruited him. So any of them, I can come up with an argument like that.
Yeah, and if it depends on who the coach is, I know the consensus is Melo is a Hop guy and wants Hop, and the streets say he's putting up money for Hop, but I'm sure he'd be happy with Jerry too. And the latest thing I've seen, which was just sent to me, I've got a group chat with some incredible fellas who just keep me updated.
I like it.
Jason Dumas. I'm going to say Dumas. He might prefer Dumas. I believe Dumas, if you don't know, works in news in Philadelphia, Syracuse guy.
I'm thinking
I don't know how we know this.
The Shawshank Redemption line. Dumbass, but that's a whole different thing.
But he put out less than an hour ago that he has been told if Jerry wants the Syracuse job, it's his. Again, I don't know who he's talking to.
Yeah.
I really don't. But here's what I'll say, right? A guy who works in news in a large market who does have connections to Syracuse, I'm sure somebody at least told him. Like, I'm sure he didn't just make that up for clicks. So it would kind of surprise me, but I'd say there's a lot more smoke with Jerry now between the tournament win, between, stuff like that. And also, let's be real, if what Jim Boeheim said today is correct, that ACC schools are calling Jerry, you might not have time. Like, if you want Jerry, if you want to give him a chance to coach, you might need to do it now before he goes to another school, has some success, and then ends up there for a bit. I think there's more pressure on Syracuse to hire him now if they want him than there was 24 hours ago.
Yeah, I'd say the Jerry situation, it has become fascinating again, right? Because let's go back 3 years ago when Red got hired, and it was clearly it was going to be either Red or Jerry there. We all know that's what happened, and Red got the job. We said at the time, I said at the time, that the only way now, and because Jerry stayed as the associate head coach, he got a nice pay raise and was the good soldier for a year. And let's look at the last 3 years. It was the best year that Red had. So connect some dots there. They also maybe, had Judah. They had the best player that they had during that time. But I said that in order for Jerry ever to be the Syracuse head coach, like ever, he is going to have to leave, go get another job, succeed, and then come back after it does not work out for Red or sometime in the future. I did not, but then I said the main problem that's going to happen for Jerry is Red may get fired too quickly for him to have had enough time to make himself a viable candidate for the job. And then he makes the tournament yesterday on the same day that Red coaches his last game. And I don't know about you, Jordan. I'm watching that game, and I specifically tuned in to watch that game. I don't sit around watching a lot of Siena basketball, even though they're from 5 minutes from my house until this time of year. But, we finished up post-game. That Wake game goes overtime, so I had the TV on, watched the end of that. I'm like, all right, I'll watch the second half of Jerry here. I felt, because of Jerry, we know Jerry, we like Jerry, we watch Jerry play, the whole thing. I felt suddenly emotionally invested in this game. Then, after the game, they do whatever post-game show, and Zubin Mehenti's hosting it with Kevin Keats and whomever. I found it hilarious. Kevin Keats introduced himself to Jerry when they're talking to him. Hi, this is Coach Kevin Keats. I'm like, that was a very official introduction. But Jerry in that interview, it was like 10 minutes. It was long for a post-game on-headset deal while they're celebrating. I felt the old series, like it's 20 years on since Jerry won the Big East tournament by himself. It dragged him there with Devo and that whole crew. I felt like emotionally invested in that, and you felt the ties to it where, man, if I knew Jerry was going to be successful as Syracuse head coach, give me Jerry over everybody else. Because that is so, just in the feels for every Syracuse fan. But, oh my God, as bad as it is, as bad I think as we all feel for Red today that it didn't work out. It's not the wrong decision, but I think we feel bad for Red that it didn't work out. Jerry is beloved. Red, people like Red. Jerry's beloved. He's on a level that few are in Syracuse. If Jerry comes to Syracuse and fails, and they have to fire Jerry McNamara, holy Lord, that's brutal. Can you imagine? If people turn on Jerry, if people are booing Jerry, this is a risk reward for a lot of different ways, right? Man, that would be deeply unsettling if Jerry gets booed out of the building. It would be even more unsettling if he comes in coaching Pittsburgh and beats Syracuse, comes in coaching Georgia Tech and beats Syracuse, comes in coaching Boston College and beats Syracuse. It's a weird vibe now, man. But I think last night, I think it's a hard hire to make if Jerry doesn't say, I put a team in the tournament. And then, goddamn, he put a team in the tournament. And now you look at his qualifications, you look at Brian Hodgson, you look at Church, you look at these guys, and Jerry can at least sit at the table with them now, where before it was a stretch. Now he's in the mix, and I think it's fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah, which, if we're being honest, him winning that one game, it shouldn't change anything
No,
about his candidacy,
but
but
damn it, it does.
it feels like it does. The other thing that I find interesting is you got Jerry's now going to be in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
So if you're interested in him, then now you need to wait until they're booted out to
Yeah,
get
I mean,
into the actual coach selection.
like I mean, that's okay. Realistically, I mean, what's the latest bracketology? They're going to be like a 15 seed or something. So
Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to win, but you wanna hire a coach as soon as possible nowadays, so you can formulate a plan and not speak to anybody until the portal officially opens.
right, of course, because nobody would do that. I'm looking at Lenardi's bracketology today. He's got Siena as a 16 seed going to San Diego to play Arizona. So good luck with all that. So yeah, they're like realistically they're going to play a damn near unwinnable game just talent wise in the first round. But if you look at the timetable here, and remember what Pete Thamel reported this morning, and it goes in line with just the logic of what we've all been thinking. We haven't been reporting it, but we've been just like, this makes logical sense. Like, who fired Red? John Wildhack fired Red is the official story, right? Who's going to hire the next head coach? The new AD is going to hire the next head coach probably to start off your tenure on the right foot, where obviously stuff is happening on that. They technically haven't hired a new AD yet. So like it can all be in play. And all right, say Jerry plays Thursday or Friday. It's a week from tomorrow, a week from Friday. I don't think it's for him or for any coach that's going to be out in the first or second round. Your timetable's still fine because you can get him hired, get him in place, and you'd still have 2 weeks before the rest of the portal opens. Like I think that's a perfectly reasonable timetable, Jordan. I don't know, that part of it doesn't really worry me. And realistically, that stuff's agents and whatever. It's all happening while that's all happening, regardless.
The thing about Jerry is, I feel like when he says he's not focusing on any of it whatsoever while his team's there, I genuinely believe it. Like some guys, I totally believe would have their mind on all that stuff, but also maybe Jerry's in a situation where if he's leaving, it's going to be Syracuse, so he doesn't have to think about it. I don't know. It's just,
right.
I feel all this pressure to make sure there's a coach if I were Syracuse to get everything moving because there's going to be turnover. The other thing is, with Brian Blair, new athletic director,
Brian with
no Syracuse ties at all. How does that impact, in-house versus out-of-house, family versus non-family? I think that's very interesting as well. Does that make him more or less likely to want to have a Jerry, or is he going to take a completely new look at things and be like, look, Jerry, good guy, I don't know if this is the guy, and he won't look at it the same way as some would.
I can see both. Like, I can see that side of it. That said, based on the timing of all of this, I get that Brian Blair, assuming he's going to be the next athletic director, and he's been the AD at Toledo the last 4 years, and we'll get into him.
He's not at this point.
Yeah, he's not the AD at this point. And even if he is the AD at the time of the hire, he'll have been the AD for like a day. Who's really making the hire? Like, this is a board of trustees call. So if there's people on the board of trustees that like Jerry, the same people are going to be on the board of trustees that like Jerry when the hire is made. If there's people on the board of trustees, John Lally, that have ties to Brian with a Y Hodgson, lots of Brian with a Y, so I don't know about this, at USF, John Lally's still going to be involved in this process regardless of who the AD is. So while, yeah, I'm sure the AD will be involved in interviews and whatnot and whatever's going on, but yeah, I think the actual powers that be on this are probably a rung up the ladder from John Wildhack, from Brian Blair, from anybody. Now, will they direct the credit to the new AD? Will they be like, the first act on the job was hiring the basketball coach, and what a great thing and celebration this is for everybody? Sure, of course they will. Should they? Yeah, absolutely. Remember, like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about who's in charge of anything, and now it's going to be Chancellor, AD basketball coach. Like they've lined it up, and knocked down the pins and the whole thing. They picked up the spare, or whatever you want to do. Bowling analogy. But realistically, like you are literally not allowed. Like John Wild. If John Wildhack had not retired, let's remove Brian Blair from the equation. Or let's say if the sitting AD was making the basketball hire, it's still not a unilateral decision. It has to be approved. Like a hire that large has to be, by the rules of the university, approved by the Board of Trustees. And I think that group is wielding influence. What's interesting to me, though, now, Jordan, is I'm sure there's a lot of the same people being involved in both the AD and the basketball coach. And what have we been hearing? We've been hearing like Heather Lyke and not Heather Lyke, and then we've been hearing Nick Carparelli. To hear a different name out of the blue today, I find very encouraging. And this is not a high hurdle to jump over. This means the group with John Lally and Mike Tirico and Ian McIntyre and whoever the heck else was on it. I'm sure Ian was very forceful in this. He was been sending out more spring soccer update emails, so shout out to our guy Mac. Like that tells me they took that job seriously and did that job thoroughly. Like that they it landed on Toledo's athletic director, not anybody from a Syracuse list. They didn't lean back. They didn't say, "Oh well, we've had Heather Lyke in the thing. Let's just do that." They didn't say, "Oh, Nick Carparelli's a Syracuse guy. He's wanted this job for a long time. Let's do that." No, they went out and honestly, Brian Blair. And again, had you heard Brian Blair's name in life before 4:00 this afternoon? No.
I have a neighbor named Brian Blair.
Wow.
It's with an I.
Okay.
It's with an I, though.
Brian with an I? I like the cut of your neighbor's jib, yeah.
Yeah. I asked him. He's not the AD.
Not
so
the same guy?
It is this Toledo guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've not heard of this guy before 4:00 this afternoon. What I've been saying, though, for a while is, can you get me an AD that is an AD? Check. So he's working currently as an AD. Can you get me an AD that seems to understand the modern vibe? And again, this is minimal articles, but everything I've read about the guy, fundraising background, Toledo was leading the pack in the MAC of NIL. Like they were earlier to evolve to that than the rest of it. All right, check. This guy checked a lot of the generic, who fits these boxes that intrigue me. So I like, again, for not having heard of this guy at 3:30 today. Like, I didn't know who this guy was at 3:30. By 4:00, we're like, who's this guy? This is interesting. I am intrigued by at least how he's being presented. He's being, regardless of what he is, he's being presented well, and he's being presented in a way that hits me as, okay, this guy has what a modern athletic director needs to have. Now, is it real? Is he good at, I don't know. But if you're telling me he's good at fundraising, if you're telling me he finds NIL important, if you're telling me he's, young and upcoming, if you're telling me that he's been an AD in this stupid, crazy era, I like that. You throw Nick Carparelli in there, and this is not against Nick. Nick's been running bowl season. You know what bowl season doesn't have to deal with? All this crap. Like, Nick's flying around going to bowl games. Like, I mean, when he was commissioner of the American or whatever, I mean, where was he before? No, he was with Under Armour before that. And then he was with the Big East before that. Like, he's had to deal with a lot of this stuff. Like, Heather Lyke, from all accounts, screwed up, like, this entire checklist at Pittsburgh. All right, this guy's at least successful at the checklist. I like that. I like that. And I like that they didn't just auto-check the boxes of the standard list in front of them. And for what that means for a basketball coach, all right, in my mind, like at this point, I'd be surprised if it's not Brian Hodgson or Jerry. But the fact that that's how they hired the AD, it makes me encouraged that, okay, if there's somebody we haven't thought of out there, maybe they're at least spending the time to think about that right now.
Yeah, everything you said. First off, that was what I thought. And with Fran, it was like Fran called them. He was, who is this guy hire? Yeah. And it worked. But I mean, former football players, young guys weren't on the original list of candidates that everybody was thinking of and had circled. The thing that I think I like most about it is I don't think I'm out of turn saying that sometimes decisions made by Syracuse's athletic department and leaders can come off as a little bit out of touch.
Yeah.
Right. And so they hired the opposite essentially of John Wildhack. And I don't think Wildhack's a bad guy, but I mean, they took a guy who has AD experience. He's like damn near 30 years younger. The concern I'm seeing in the chat and online is he's more of a football guy. Let's face it, that's important. Also, you know, if he's doing his job well, Syracuse has enough alumni and bright minds, and where there are people who can fill in the basketball stuff. If Blair is just a football guy, as said, but I think it's a choice that shows dedication to change. And yeah, the NIL stuff is obviously big. I think the numbers, I believe it said he increased Toledo's NIL like 283% or something. The numbers can look boosted because I think all of that was just, or, you know, easier to inflate once the importance of NIL became common sense. And it was around the last couple times. So it was easier to be like, look, we need money now. If you want to be good, we need money. But he still did a good job. You know, Syracuse loves this. I guess, you know, the GPA for Toledo's athletes was the highest it had been for a while. It seems like he's done everything well. And again, my big thing is it's just different. It's not doing the same thing. It's hopefully somebody who just has a fresh new perspective on everything, because it all needs an overhaul, all of it.
If I'm Fran, I'm taking credit too. I'm like, hey, guys, like, I don't know what you were waiting around for. I hired their defensive coordinator months ago. Like, I don't know what you guys have been waiting around. Like, I've been all up on what Toledo's.
No weird overlap.
Yeah, it's what did we took their football defensive coordinator and their athletic director. What? Yeah. That's what we did. Here's the thing that I would love to know that we haven't heard yet. Oh yeah, we're double dipping today, Super Cat, and we'll be back at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning with more live in the 315. Because we need right now. There's lots going on. We need to be here. We need to talk about it all, and we need to get it out there. And if you're here, and a lot of new people joined us for postgame yesterday and have been hanging around for our shows today. If you're new, we are perilously close to 700 subscribers. So if you would like to be subscriber 700, that would be outstanding. So click the buttons. What are we sitting at right now? Current update 697. 697. Like we are knocking on the door of
on Seven's door.
Yeah, on Seven's door. It's right next to Heaven's door. Yeah, it's right there. It's in the song. I think it's in the song. What was I saying? Mike Haney got hired last week. We talked about Mike last week. I would love to know what role, interaction, whatever Mike had in this process, because obviously there was the committee and those people were in charge of it, and there's a search committee and there's the whole thing. But like, it's been known for a while who the chancellor is going to be. He wasn't just picked last week. This has been known for a while. What role? And we all seem to think that Haney is a bigger sports guy than Kent. And not that that's all a high hurdle to leap. I would love to know what influence he had. Like, was he like, hey, I like what I see with this guy, because that would tell me, like, if Haney was on board and it's like, oh yeah, that's great what he's doing. That's how I want my athletic department at my university now that I'm the chancellor on. That tells me there's good alignment from top to bottom. And alignment is so key in this day and age because of the money aspect, where main campus, each school on main campus. I just got the annual mailing for the Day of Giving at Syracuse, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's got Otto on it. So both Max and the neighbors across the street kids were running around with because they're Syracuse grads over there too. So like, everyone was running around with the mailing. So congrats on putting Otto on the fundraising mailing. It's doing great work. So it didn't immediately go in the trash can this time. But
for me, that went right in the driver's side door, the little slot.
Okay.
I put mail that it's like, yeah, I'm not even bringing this. So I didn't throw it out yet.
Yeah, there you go. Jordan put it in the car vertical file. So like that's coming up, but like school, athletic department, NIL, like the same donor base is being asked a lot these days. And like if you are rich person X, Syracuse grad, and let's say you went to Newhouse. Let's say Newhouse is asking you for money. The athletic department's asking you for money. The campus in general is asking you for money. Donor fatigue is real. Like on top of whether you have the money or not, donor fatigue is real. I need coordination top to bottom in the athletic department, in the university. All right, like if you're going to go to Bob Billionaire X, go to him once with all the things. Don't go to him 17 times asking, like go to him once and say, hey, Bob, we need all these things. Can we count on you to pledge X money, whatever it is you're comfortable with, and then I know you're passionate about this, that, and I know some of it's campus, some of it's here. Can you just trust that we know where the money needs to go today, and we're going to work it out? Because I think right now when it's getting pulled here, pulled there, like everybody's trying to grab for their little projects, like, and then it's a mess. And then the same people are getting asked 80 million freaking times to do it. Like, can you get them all? Like, coordinate. Like, don't call Bob 17 times. Call him once with the person he knows, and they're like, hey, Bob, here's the things we need. Like, how can you help? And I think that all ties in. Like, if the AD or if the chancellors and the board is on board with the AD hire and they're working together on getting the basketball coach, it all works. And I don't know if that's happening. I'm hopeful that's happening because it did not feel like that was happening previously. And I think with all of these changes, Jordan, now, it minimum, it has a chance to happen now where it was not happening before.
Yeah, and I forgot the specifics though, because we were all trying to figure out as much about Mr. Blair as possible. But you talked about how kind of erratic the effort to get money seemed. I forgot the details of it, but one of the things that he did for the NIL at Toledo is apparently he did something to streamline their collection efforts and kind of get it all coordinated and more cohesive. You can read more about it, but that was one of the things I was like, okay, that sounds like it'll really help Syracuse because that's what people complain about here.
Yeah.
Obviously, fundraising is more than just athletics, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm scrolling Twitter, man. I'm trying to. After today, I'm anticipating that stuff's just going to drop at any time
moment,
of the day. Like it can't stop at this point. There was so much. I mean, besides Autry, then Goodman was out, and he's like, "Yeah, I was told that coaches were like, if Heather likes the AD, we are not going." And then new AD announced, and poor Alex Klein and the staff. Obviously that was going to happen. I kind of feel bad for Klein because some people don't think he did a good job. I feel like JJ and Donnie were almost non-negotiables. They didn't play well. Nate George didn't play super well. But I mean, he found Kyle and Kings, both guys who exceeded expectations, I would say. So feel bad for Klein. So yeah, I'm really just buzzing, waiting for more stuff to happen.
LA Orange is putting me in charge of the fundraising due to all the green names. There we go. I don't know if I've raised quite enough funds for the basketball coach, but we can work on it. In order to bolster my resume, though, I think more people need to click on the $ next to the chat box and become members of the channel because that will help out with my resume to become, apparently lead fundraiser of the university with all my fantastic fundraising ideas. The Klein thing. The Klein case is interesting because I can see the argument of saying, hey, the roster didn't work this year. That's on the GM. What I still don't know about Alex is, and what we praised Alex for, is that, all right, regardless of how the players played this year, right? Like, man, they had a plan and they executed in Alex's only year of going through this process in the portal last year. Where the year before with no GM, no plan, execution, haphazard, and insanity, and it just felt like they were panicking and like, it's Jair Davis, get his leg, don't let him go. Like, it just felt like it was insane. So what I don't know about Alex is what we were comparing him to was nothing. He was way better than no GM. Like, he dominated the crap out of no GM. If we just slide in, GM Brian Hodgson GM, brings his GM with him. We just slot him in. Like, is that just the same thing? Like, I have no idea. Like, was Alex Klein good? I don't know. Like, if we slot in a different GM, what changes? Like, I'd like to think now you're going to have a GM no matter what. Therefore, you're going to have the planning and the architecture every year, no matter what. Which is what Syracuse was 2-3 years behind everybody else, which is what one of the things really put them behind the 8 ball. Pardon me. Just a little hacking up along there, Jordan. Don't bother me.
Oh, you're good. Another thing.
I muted it, I think, but yeah, who knows?
Oh.
Yeah, I think my guess is Klein ends up back in the NBA. Like, he'll have a soft, like, he'll get a job back in the NBA. I'd say no problem. Like, I think he's still thought of as a sharp mind. Yeah, Govendo called in this morning. We talked about Syracuse's director of ops, Pete Corsiniti. Like, and he was listed among the people cleared out. That I feel bad about, because while he was technically an assistant coach, he was an assistant coach in that you were allowed 6. They took everybody on the staff and technically added assistant coach to all their titles. What they didn't do, and what I'm 100% certain the next head coach will demand they do, is be like, yeah, we need to staff all these positions. We're Syracuse. We have to staff all these positions. And the reason I'm certain it will get done is look at what happened with the football team, right? They have so many more people running around there than when Dino was there. Like, Dino couldn't get that stuff approved. New coach comes in, coaches, recruiting creep. Like, they got a recruiting office. There's, like, just people. There's not room to sit down. There's so many damn people in there, and it still probably pales in comparison to, like, Alabama. There's just people, like, standing in the corner typing or something. Chairs? Who needs chairs? Like,
remember the comically large National Signing Day presser where I think they literally had 2 groups of recruiting people come up and they had to do all the question and answers separately because there were so many damn people. And you're just like, oh, I've seen this name on Twitter. Oh, I've never seen this guy in my life. Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. How many graphics can you make?
They did one in it wasn't a signing day one. It was
the camera was just like,
yeah, it was Fran's first spring football, and they did interviews whatever a few times a week in Ensley, and they had a standard backdrop you set up, and when it's one person, like when Fran's standing in front of it, looked fine, but Fran wanted to get like all of his coaches a little pub, so each assistant had a day. Then one day it's like, oh, bring out the recruiting people. There was like 9 people like stretched across. Like, what is, like, you couldn't hear any. I mean, it was a mess, but it was entertaining. It was absolutely entertaining. So I think basketball, like, clearly they won't have that amount of people, but you're allowed 6 assistants. All right, like, do I think that's unnecessary? Like, sure, but that's what everyone's doing now, so you better be doing it too. You better have 6 assistants, and a director of ops, and your strength coach, and your GM. How about an assistant GM? Like, you need to staff up that office. You need bodies, because it's just the way the world works now. And it's also a sign, like, if I'm Brian Hodgson, who has all of that essentially at USF right now, has that volume of positions, and you're interviewing at Syracuse, you're going to ask about that. Like, hey, I've got all these positions. I noticed you did not have all of them last year. Like, if I say yes to this, we're having all those positions, right? Like, if you're Syracuse, you can't say no and be like, 4's good. You can't. Like, are you serious about this or not? So, and this is where I talk about, all right, vertical alignment. That's going to cost more. And that can't magically all just be created out of the same money in the athletic department budget without assistance from the campus of being like, okay, yeah, the basketball budget needs to go up a little bit right now. Like, the basketball budget for years got by at a bargain because Jim Boeheim wasn't getting paid anywhere near market value. Jim Boeheim wasn't getting paid 1/3 of market value. Syracuse had the best deal think whatever you want of his last few years as head coach, but for the breadth of his contract, like, Syracuse got Jim Boeheim on the cheap, and Jim was fine with it, and it worked out great for Syracuse. That world is over. Especially if you hire anybody other than Jerry. That world is over and done with. Like, you need to budget up and get ready to pay. And pay for NIL. It's not cheap. It's the world now. You want to be good at basketball? You need money. You need money every year. It's pretty simple. Red said it on the way out. Nobody wanted to hear it from Red, and I understand why nobody wants to hear it from Red. Just because you didn't want to hear it from Red doesn't mean Red was wrong. And I don't think it's why he failed, but it doesn't mean he was wrong.
You mentioned money and you mentioned Jerry. So as I'm going through the list of things that I saw on Twitter today that piqued my interest, first of all, there's some talk of golf in the chat. I'm terrible. I golfed for one summer, got decent. Clubs disappeared. Tough to find clubs for somebody my size without going and buying them. And yeah, just it all went downhill from there. But you know what else I saw all over the internet this morning was I saw Darren Heitner, if you remember.
Oh, my Lord. I saw that.
I saw Adam Weitzman retweet the post with him talking about how Syracuse made a mistake letting him go. I saw some guy I had never heard of who looks to be a Sienna like donor booster fan. I don't know. Thanking Adam Weitzman for his contributions. I saw Gavin Doty, runner up, I believe, for MAC Player of the Year, thanking Adam Weitzman for his support throughout the year. That support was financial.
Yeah.
And part of what I'm kind of interested to see, and the answer, you've got to think it's heck no. But hey, there's a new regime. If Jerry ends up at Syracuse, do we get the Adam Weitzman reunion that a group of people have been begging for, whether or not it's for good reason?
I say this, his money has never been turned away. It's just not been offered. All that got turned away was him, like the circus. Like the circus left town. Like not once says he didn't show up with a check. But they're like, here you go, $1 million, get that $1 million player. And they'd be like, absolutely not. We will not stand for this nonsense. His money's always welcome. The Heitner thing, I mean, you remember this, like right after the $1 million player thing happened, when that came out, and it came out that Heitner, who's, hot shot NIL lawyer at the, down in Florida at the beginning of this thing, I DM'd Heitner on Twitter. Like, all right, shot in the dark. Let's see if we can book Heitner to talk about this. And he replied shockingly quickly, like too quickly. Like he should be busier than have the ability to apply as quickly as he did. Like how it was like 3 minutes. I'm like, that's not right. Like I don't reply to people that quickly. This isn't right. And
don't you have some law to study?
Yeah, like shouldn't you be doing
practice?
Law stuff? But
read a book.
Like what is going on? And like his first answer was something like, yeah, we should be able to work something out, blah, blah, blah. And then, reply to that and then eventually get ghosted. And obviously I never talked to him and the $1 million player never happened and nothing ever happened. So yeah, good for you. Just how about that? The whole thing. If Adam Weitzman wants to give money to Syracuse basketball, great. Give some money. But the good news is though, to those posts, what I've found here recently is that finally the Weitzman truthers are getting outshouted by the logic real people on those, which is rare for social media, that most of the Syracuse fan replies to that are like, we never did anything and whatever. So I'm glad more people are joining us on our side on that in my never-ending quest to yell down Adam Weitzman. One of the trophies back here again for yelling about Adam Weitzman. So there we are. Like he's welcome to give money. Like I don't know the guy. I don't hate the guy. Like this is not against Adam Weitzman. If he wants to do everything he said he was going to do, great. Like do it. Like, but I just say what I do find interesting is this. I said this on the show this morning. Like all right, like let's say it is Jerry versus Hodgson. And Brian Hodgson can come in and say, I have a relationship with the Lallies who have given a lot of money, primarily for football and facilities, are willing to now be basketball NIL donors because we grew tight while I was the coach at USF and they lived down there. And then obviously, like John's there on the board of trustees. You can ask him, John, is this like, are you going to pony up for basketball NIL if we hire Hodgson? And like only if we hire Hodgson? And like if the answer to that is yes and it's a significant amount of money, I think that's a factor. Jerry is Jerry. I'd like to think that Jerry being Jerry, and it's different, right, in the role of head coach than his previous role as assistant coach. Like, how much money, just based on everyone that Jerry knows, like, would that bring in for NIL? I don't know the answer to that. But like if I'm Brian with a Y AD interviewing him, like if I'm the board asking the like, all right, Jerry, like you're killing it NIL at Siena. Obviously, that's nothing compared to what you need here. Like, what through your massive Syracuse connections, how much money can we count on because you're the head coach? Because that fixes, I think, most of Jerry's problems in the past recruiting, right? I don't know the answer. Like, which pile of money is bigger? I don't know. Like, if you're saying their coaching is equal, which, argue that however you want, that's a pretty good deciding factor, right? Because that's going to decide how you have better basketball players on your team.
Yeah, and again, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but I think the big thing with Hop and the thing that got a lot of people believing Hopkins was realistic, which by the way, I know we're talking Jerry now. If Hop ever was a thing, I don't think he's not a thing now, but the big thing was
I believe Hop really wanted the job. Like, I believe that.
If the supposed promise of Mello money was there, I feel like Jerry could go to Mello and be like, hey, man, I heard you were offering money. I also want to win for Syracuse.
Hey,
I feel like he can make that work. Mello will forget about it if it's not Hop, if it's Jerry.
Yeah, it's like, remember how we played together on the team that won the title?
Days.
You remember that? That was fun,
we
huh?
Do that again.
Buddy old pal. Yeah, like how good is that if Melo's helping Jerry with Cayenne, and then Jerry coaches up Cayenne extra hard and turns Cayenne into the player we all hope he could be? Like, the stories that happen if Jerry succeeds are just outstanding. Like, Jerry turning Cayenne into a big-time player. Like, taking his up and down topsy-turvy freshman year and making him into something. Like, Mello and Jerry did it. Now Jerry's doing it for Mello. Like, oh, man. Like, write a sappy TV movie about it now. But, I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. I'd love to see if any third name, like, can you get Josh Schertz in the mix? Is there a name we're not thinking of? I would like to know, like, have you tried to go whatever would be big game hunting of a sitting, head coach at pick a major university? Shaka Smart, I know, like, TJ Otzelberger's name is out there at Iowa State. Have you at least poked around at any of those and been like, all right, can we raise enough money to take a shot at these people and do what some of the other big schools have done recently, gone and get a proven Power 5 head coach? It's all fascinating how it's going to play out, and then how does that bleed into the portal and bleed into excitement going forward? I keep saying this because it remains true. This is the most important month in, like, the history of Syracuse basketball in which there were no games played. It's not March and April of 2003 because of the games, but in a month without games, like, what's ever happened that's more important than what's happening now? When you look at Chancellor, AD, head coach, portal, program teetering, like, this is the month to save the program, and I don't think that's speaking dramatically. It sounds dramatic, but I don't think it's over the top.
Which is why I wonder, if you had to handicap it, what do you actually, and it's tough because we didn't know the name Blair, so we don't know maybe a potential name, but what do you think the odds are at this point that they actually go with? If I kind of consider Schertz outside because I just genuinely don't believe that was going to be realistic. I think someone will scoop him up. Someone will work harder to get him. But like, what do you think the odds are at this point they really go outside of a Jerry, Hop, Schertz, Hodgson? Because it sounds silly, but I think everybody was pretty set on one or two names for the AD, and then you just hit a hard left within a matter of, a day.
Well, I think, all right, like, what ties can we make here from a Toledo AD situation? Well, there's some decent basketball being played at the top of the MAC right now. Like, he's got to be obviously very aware of Travis Steele at Miami of Ohio. Just like, okay, what does that do with that? A guy like John Gross, and I wouldn't be really excited about this necessarily. Akron is the other team that's killing it the last few years in the MAC. Gross is their head coach. He was the former coach at Illinois and frankly did not do a good job there. But now he won the MAC last year and is they're actually, go figure, Jordan, that Akron, even over undefeated Miami of Ohio, Akron is the betting favorite to win that conference tournament, which is kind of surprising since Miami of Ohio is undefeated. So because now there is a MAC tie, does any of that come into play? Can hot name X, every year, hot name X, it will appear. We're going to be sitting here. This is Wednesday. We're going to be sitting here in 9 days by the end of next Friday night, and there will be a hot name X because some team will have pulled the upsets, and there will be a hot name out there. Like, the Syracuse nose in on whoever magically becomes the hot name this year. Does the hot name become Jerry? Like it easily could be. Brian Hodgson, I mean, you look at him, like USF's positioned right now to, they're actually on the bubble if they don't win the American. But if they win the American, they were a 12 seed in the bracket today by Lenardi. But hey, 12 seeds have been known to pop up in the Sweet 16. Like Brian Hodgson could go from a hot name to a hot name real fast and elevate. We don't talk about Chris Carrawell next because we may be talking about him tomorrow on Who's Next Bowling Ball. This, Jordan, this was weird. I got followed today on Instagram by the subject of tomorrow's Who's Next, Chris Carrawell. Not the like this is assistant coach week. Like Monday I did UConn's lead assistant Kamani Young. Like Chris Carrawell followed me off of seeing the Kamani Young reel, I think. Does he know he's the subject of tomorrow's? He didn't follow me off his reel. It hasn't happened yet. I'm doing it tomorrow. It's bizarre. Duke's associate head coach. Should we rise him higher up the rankings just because of that? I think yes. Because why?
Is he gunning for this job?
I don't know.
Why else are you following?
I don't know. I'm like, Chris Carrawell. I haven't even said, this right now is the first time I've specifically said out loud, we're talking about Chris Carrawell tomorrow. I've alluded to it. I don't think Chris was sitting here watching the whole damn show. How did he end up there?
Honestly,
I'm confused.
That's the most likely reason I can find for him just following.
I don't know. I haven't been followed by anybody else that's been featured on Who's Next. I got followed by somebody that's about to be featured on Who's Next. Bizarre. But it's got my antenna up. Chris Carrawell. Do I care more about him now because of this? Absolutely. Now I'm kind of invested in figuring out if he's a good option because
I think that bumps him up the list of it just because after
now he's in
4 slot, it's kind of who knows, we're just throwing stuff at the wall. I'll make him 5 on my list after
I don't know.
news.
Why not?
I will.
If he's a friend of the show, then I'm a friend of his. That's how this works. Well, I'll scratch his back. They won't let Kev buy a super sticker? I don't know. I don't know why that is. Yeah, you did, but I'm actually doing it because we're doing a top assistant week. Luke Murray is a name that's being mentioned, which would be, he's the other big time assistant at UConn that he and Kamani Young are both, they're both really good guys. And if you get him, you get Bill Murray, which, I mean, come on now. Would there be any better auxiliary acquisition by Syracuse basketball than Bill Murray suddenly being at Syracuse basketball games and, unlike in the Adam Weitzman era, being there for an actual damn reason? Bill Murray would be there invested in Syracuse basketball. Could you imagine if Bill Murray and Carmelo are just sitting next to each other? What zaniness is going on there? I want that buddy show. So I don't know. I think there are ways these things can happen. I just want, while it feels like it's Jerry and Hodgson at this second, I just hope the actual process does, to use a wild hack term, let's due diligence it up. Let's talk to all these guys, and let's see where it goes. Let's see who impresses the most, right? And it's got to be a very different interview process for coaches now, because that NIL question, You got to ask that to everybody. It's hey, we're going to try to get you as much NIL as we can. How are you going to help us get you the money? Coaches can't just sit there and hope. You got to be involved in that too. You got to be involved in that too. And what connections do you have? For Brian Hodgson, the Lally thing. If the Lallies are willing to give more total money, right? Because whoever said earlier, like, let's not take it away from Fran. Yeah, I don't want the Lallies now splitting their money. You're now more money from you if that's what you're doing. But yeah, I think it's fascinating. Jerry obviously has ties. Like, hey, Kev figured it out. Thank you, Kevin. I don't know what is that, like a weird crying cat? I don't even know what's happening. Is that a dog?
I think it's a fox.
Is it a fox? What
Speaking
does
of which,
the fox
I'll
say?
have a Hopper movie review next podcast.
Okay.
I'm gonna. It's that Pixar movie,
It's
but
supposed to be good.
Lizard.
I've
Yeah.
read good things.
Great ratings. That lizard is every third post on my Instagram. I love that lizard, guys. So I'll have a review. But thank you, Kev. We appreciate it all. I'm glad you found the button. There was some trouble last night. I feel like you were going somewhere. What I was just thinking before you get back to it is anything's up for grabs, but I think, if I'm being honest, I think a lot of the reason Blair ended up swooping in and having such success is the previous experience we saw with John Wildhack. I mean, there are some things that he did do well, but ultimately, like, the programs aren't looking great. So, and he didn't have that experience. So I think somebody who's done it before is a priority. Red was an assistant,
Right.
and he didn't do well, whether or not that's because of the change to the role or just because he didn't have the experience. So I find it hard to believe with such an important hire that they will go for somebody who hasn't been a head coach. I know they did it with Fran, but just based on what they just did in terms of their athletic director hire, that
Right.
makes me even more confident that they are like, we need people who know what they are doing. You know, new chancellor, new AD. We need everybody who's doing a job to have done it before.
Yeah, that's why, like, it sounds like Luke Murray, like, everyone likes Luke Murray as a basketball mind. And I believe it. Like, clearly UConn's offense, like, when it's been humming the last few years and he's designed the offense, is fantastic. Like, look at their championship runs. Like, it was unstoppable. And really well run. Really well run. But I just don't think Syracuse is in position right now to hire a assistant for what you just said. Like, if you're going to hire an assistant right now, it can't be the Fran Brown, like, man, this guy really impressed me. We need to do something different. The hell with it. Let's go outside the box. I just like this guy's energy. With basketball, you just can't do that right now with basketball. Like, you would have to be 99.99% sure that, like, Luke Murray or Carrawell or Kamani Young or somebody mentioned, I forget his name right now, the guy that is that for Florida, their lead assistant, obviously they've been great the last few years. You'd have to be so convinced that's the guy. Like, because right now I think anything resembling a tie has to go to a sitting head coach. And yeah, this Brian with a Y thing, it's very possible, Jordan, that within the next, like, 2 to 3 weeks, that the new athletic director and the new basketball coach are both Brian's with a Y, which, as part of the majority group, Brian with an I, I'm a bit flummoxed by the whole thing, and I don't know if I should feel threatened in my standing as a Brian with an I, or if I'm going to be welcomed into their new Brian with a Y cabal. I don't know what this does for our group here, and I'm honest, I'm a bit concerned about this Brian with a Y takeover potentially of Syracuse University.
I think you're safer as a Brian than like a Marshall would be.
All right. You never know.
You know,
like
or,
the
an
Brian with
Ezekiel.
the Brian with a Y group could feel that us Brians with I's have held them down for long enough, and this is their time to shine. Like, this could be an uprising, and it worries me.
You could just change it. I have a question that's
I'm
kind of
not joining that. No,
interesting.
Brian with I is the superior
Yeah.
Brian. So I'm not changing my damn name just because they showed up. The hell with that.
Just draw a couple of lines.
No.
on your eye and
No.
Just write your name in pen, then do a couple lines in pencil, and then when you've snuck your way into the group, just erase the Y.
Yeah, Ryan Mullen said, like,
just
I
have the
feel like Brian's with I's naturally align with Ryan's with Y's, and we're both like, what's up with those Brian's with Y's, and what's up with those Ryans with I's? Like, I think Brian's with I's and Ryan's with Y's are naturally aligned, And then these other groups are just out there, and we don't know what they're doing. And I think it would be kind of wild if just Syracuse just only starts hiring Bryans with Ys out of nowhere. Like, it's not a large group, and they're just like, yeah, you guys are killing it. Let's go. All Bryans with Ys. I think there's an advertising campaign in there somewhere.
Jen in the chat is coming in late. It's Brian Blair, who's the athletic director for Toledo, apparently going to be coming over to Syracuse. He's done it since 2022. I'd say pretty successful. They're talking about something in the chat. I know we're going on an hour, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. If we can agree that Syracuse's NIL was a little below $8 million this year, somebody was asking how much you think it would take to be successful. I'm curious if they were a little below 8 million, I know numbers get thrown around. Do you think it's fair to call like Nate George, JJ, and Donnie at least half of that?
Of the 8 mil, what's the Nate George, JJ, and Donnie?
People have thrown 2 million around for George and Starling, which I find hard to believe.
I think that's too high. I don't think either of them got two.
I think I remember there was a report before the season that I think Kings was getting 750. Somebody said before the season. So based on all of that, and now keep in mind that what is Debanza from BYU? He wasn't getting 8 million, was he?
I think 7 was the number out there. It wasn't true. I don't know, but 7 was the number. But that was obviously that's a rare case. Yeah,
but that's just to say, that didn't even guarantee them. I mean, BYU's been up and down this season. Look, they're doing well, but I mean,
BYU's second best player got hurt, and their team fell apart.
So if 7 mil for one guy doesn't guarantee you, success, then what does Syracuse need to be successful in a conference that has, Duke?
My overhead
that
light
was ominous.
Yeah, my overhead light just burned. Turned off. I don't know if it burned. Now I'm sitting in the dark. The lighting is. Oh wait, both of these lights turned off. Well, that's peculiar. Why did both of those? It's more peculiar because how are both?
Did you get cut out?
Well,
did you not pay your bill?
Well, but my other lights are on, and my computer's still on. The light.
It was a warning shot.
One of the lights that turned off and my computer are plugged into literally the same surge protector, and this other light up here that turned off is plugged into a different outlet. I'm way too far away from the switch to undim the overhead lights, so we're just gonna just sit in the shadows. Oh yeah, LA Orange, I can rock the Cuse. I can one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, with the best of them. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam. I am. There used to be a Twitter account, Jordan, that was called all the Bryans or something, which was a funny account. It only tweeted about Bryans, and it included Bryans with a Y. It was a very inclusive Twitter account, so maybe we should be an inclusive Bryan group. I don't know. I'm still, we'll have to see. I'm confused that it doesn't make sense to me how those two things went out and everything else is on.
It's okay. I'm seeing the number. They're 15 million. I'm seeing 15 thrown around in the chat for a championship caliber team. Now, we all have high expectations for our Orange. I don't think anybody's saying Syracuse needs to win a national title next year. I mean, do you think, say they get up to I don't know, if they go from 8 to 10, that's one more ACC starter caliber player, right? Does that make the difference?
I mean, it makes a difference, right? It's significant.
It does, but they had a losing record this season, no matter how good the coach is. Now, I guess part of that is a lot of the money was allocated to guys who didn't play up to their earnings. But do you think 10 million, does that swing him in? Do you think this same number could get him in if the guys who were supposed to perform just perform? Where do they realistically need to be?
More is obviously always better. You wonder when the numbers going to stop climbing. I think the toughest part about NIL is it's just that you need to come up with that money every freaking year. It's just over and over and over again. Yeah, Florida guy, I think that's a great question. What is Sadiq White going to cost this next year? Thank you, SU fan 1125, a 315 loyalist. We like that.
We love SU fan 1125. That's a That's a handsome fella.
Very handsome fellow. Yes, absolutely.
Good looking fella.
So I don't know. I don't know. Like every time, like especially with Jim Boeheim and all the and nothing against Jim, like but every time we hear Jim say it, the number's higher than it was before, and the numbers just keep going up. Like the last time Jim was talking about 8 was good, and now we need 15, and it's just like, well, I mean, at some part
But
of
that's
it,
just how it is too. It's
yeah,
not just Jim. It's just how, because some school, some rich dude, some program is gonna be like, oh, you know what? They had 15. We're gonna make sure we have 20, and it's just gonna keep going up. And they put a cap on it. Guess what's gonna happen? Schools are gonna start cheating again. It
yeah.
is incredible. Like that number is gonna keep going up.
What's the number that Kentucky rumored to spend this year? 22 or 24? And then
Yeah.
Dickie V on the broadcast the other day is like, man, with 24 million, you think they would have put together a better roster than this? Like he's taking
Right?
9-year-old Dick
The
Vitale's
Kentucky
taking shots.
I didn't see how the game went today, but the line for the Kentucky LSU SEC tournament game, like Kentucky was bettable on the money line. Like it wasn't a great but that was like a parlay piece. If you spent 22 million, you should not be a parlay piece this early in your conference tournament.
No. So yeah, I mean it's all relative, right, to the teams you're playing and your league and all that. So yeah, more would be useful, but then it's also like the players you spend the money on, Donnie, Nate,
50 million.
JJ have to produce. Yeah, if you just roll 100 million out there, like just go get the Natty. Like go get Melo and LeBron. They got eligibility left, and go win that damn thing next year. Like go get it. Go get it. Like there is no number too high. There is no number too high. I am so perplexed at how these two lights, which have not a single thing to do with each other, went off at the exact same time. It is like what happened that only got those lights and nothing else? And is the light broke? Like, do I need to unplug and I have so many questions to answer after the show with these lights. I don't know. I don't know where.
I guess my thought to answer my own question, obviously, if you can get a new coach and draw a lot of excitement and get more money, especially that Mellow money, that's great.
Yeah.
Again, like the team should have been better. Maybe
Yeah.
I say if you can get up a little bit, get up to 10, actually have like JJ was an odd case because he's a guy who he should have been really good. Clearly something went awry, whether it was injury or otherwise. He was making some money and it felt like a loyalty play, realistically. I mean, you have a guard who can't shoot in any capacity. That guy's not getting paid as much as he's getting paid at Syracuse, more than likely anywhere. You had Donnie, who was just, it was clear Red wanted Donnie to play one way, Donnie wanted to play another way. Donnie looks like he has all the talent in the world, but for a guy who wants to be a face-up player, I don't think I saw him drive by anybody in the last 10 games. It always ends up with a long 2. I've been told that's the worst shot in basketball.
You know who hates that shot? Brian Hodgson hates the long 2. USF does not take to like long 2.
10, right?
Yeah,
10, you should be fine to at least get in the tournament and see what you're doing, drum up some support, and then get more money there. That's where it's like, it's a little more than you just had, hopefully realistic, and more is better, but I don't think that's unrealistic to say just
get a little more, and then just you have to hit on your investments. That's it. Like you got to be right. And when your 3 highest paid players, I'd say none of them played up to probably what they were getting paid this year, you're not going to be successful. Now, who is it? All the players' fault? Is it Red's fault? I mean, obviously it goes all over. Donnie's not going to be the next Bam Adebayo. Yeah, I don't think he's.
Don't get me talking about Bam Adebayo.
Man, that game came out of nowhere.
I could rant on that, man. Those were some unethical buckets.
That was for how involved, post game, and it had no idea that was happening until it had happened. Like finish the shows, like look at Twitter, whatever. That was the most bizarre thing to see out of left field. To like Bam Adebayo, what? 83 points. Oh man, it made absolutely no sense. None of it made sense. Oh, did Jordan disappeared? Jordan's back. Something weird's happened. Where did Jordan go? The whole show's falling apart at this point. Jordan's internet went out. My lights went out. Where is Jordan gone? Jordan vanished, and we still haven't found out about the The eggnog. Okay, Jordan's coming back. Jordan's back. All right. So Jordan just reappeared. All right. Before this all
one headphone now.
Before everything turns off, because we're not trending well right now.
No, we're not.
We need the eggnog cookie review before like, I don't know what's going down next, but we gotta get this figured.
While I try wonderful eggnog cookie, I must just say, for the one person watching who gets this reference, because we are on YouTube, somebody's got to be enough of a basketball person to know this. There's a YouTuber, his name is Jimmy High Roller, and he does all these just like basketball videos. And just a couple weeks ago, he did one about what would it take for a player to get to Wilt's 100. And he essentially was just talking about how it was so unethical how they did it to get Wilt to 100 that it's near impossible. You'd need the perfect storm. So I just thought it was really funny that Bam got his 83, because Spo's the perfect coach where he's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah,
Keep
what the
doing
hell?
your
Let's
thing,
give it a
man.
roll. I mean, like,
So,
the
if anybody knows Jimmy
random
Hyro.
wizards who nobody knew who they were are fouling other people. All right, Jordan's gone in for the eggnog cookie, which may or may not be stale because it's from Christmas time. It is a Pepperidge Farm, though. We know they make a dynamic cookie.
These aren't stale at all.
Outstanding.
Hold on.
Jordan is going off screen. I'm still baffled by this lighting situation. Jordan, what did you just show me? Is that your eggnog mix? What in the world are you doing? You're mixing a quick nog? Are you dunking? What are you dunking it in? You're dunking it in unmixed instant nog?
Oh, it's not coating.
Ugh. I don't think that's
Need
good.
some-
Ugh. I don't know if that's a great life decision. Now you're just eating. Is this feels like the cinnamon challenge? Like you're just eating the powder. Jordan's chewing. Half by lights.
I've eaten worse for less of a reason.
Okay, that's an interesting review. I've eaten worse for less of a reason. Jordan Capozzi.
Cookies are good. I like the texture, just not super flavorful. Now they are about 2 months past the sell-by date.
Yeah,
Take that for what it is.
they were literally the last package of eggnog cookies in the store at the end of the season.
I like the crunch though. Like they exceeded. It's like William Kyle, right? And he's not going to be William Kyle because he's taken. But if you had paid William Kyle $2 million, you're not as enthused by how he played. You're pretty happy, but like I didn't come in thinking these were $2 million cookies, and like the texture is there.
Okay.
I'll give him a nice 6.5 to end the season. I already told you it's Calvin Russell because it's out of season and it's a two-way player.
There we
it's
go.
a food based off a beverage. Plays two sports.
I mean, it had to be.
I don't know what this is.
I don't think you utilized that necessarily in the way it was designed.
No.
That.
Pour one out for red.
Okay, there we are. And with that, that's going to bring an end to our TPS report today. I'm just going to coordinate things with Jordan right now. Hey, Jordan, can you do Thursday next week instead of Wednesday? Got a bit of a scheduling issue on Wednesday. Is Jordan free on next Thursday? We'll do it live. We're scheduling live.
I should be able to. It's a dog vet day. My dog's vet is half an hour away, but I think I've done it before.
You have.
It'll definitely work.
You've made it back before. All right, so there's the plan. We'll likely do the TPS report next Thursday.
Jen, I think we all like the guy from Toledo, Jen. I think that's the consensus.
Yeah, consensus.
I can do this.
We like Brian with a Y, though we're a little worried about the Y situation. And we'll see if they hire another Brian with a Y in the next couple of weeks.
Wait, there's two distinctive cookies?
What? There's two different kinds of cookies in there? I was about to turn off the show, but now we need answers. Dig in. Are they different? What's going on at the bottom of Pepperidge Farm? You sons of bitches, you've done it again. Are they just different shapes? What are we looking at? I just seen a lot of. Is it a different art design?
They're different designs, but it's just 2 distinctive cookies. Oh, 21 distinctive cookies.
Whoa, that's a different. So that's even more. So each cookie has a different design. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. Sorry to get your.
Well, that's almost more exciting, but yeah. All right. So there goes Jordan with the eggnog cookies. TPS report next Thursday. Our next show will be tomorrow morning at 11, assuming I can figure out what just happened with these totally independent, not coming out of the same place lights. I don't know how that possibly could have happened, and this is now going to be a very random 9 o'clock at night project here on a Wednesday. But for Jordan, for the eggnog cookies, I'm Brian. Until tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., where we'll once again be live in the 315. Enjoy that, one of 21 distinctive designs. See you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.